What if the thing that's supposed to take you on your dream vacation is actually putting your life at risk? I'm not trying to scare you, but if you're over 70 and you're planning to board a plane soon, there are 5 specific warning signs that mean you genuinely should not be flying right now. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what they are, why they matter at this age more than any other, and what to do instead so you can still live your life fully and safely. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Airlines don't screen you medically before you board. Nobody is checking your charts. Nobody is asking about your recent surgery or your heart condition or the medication you started last Tuesday. You step on that plane, and for the next several hours, you're in a pressurized metal tube cruising at 35,000 feet with limited medical resources and zero ability to pull over. And when you're over 70, your body responds to that environment very differently than it did when you were 45. So let's talk about sign number 1. And this one surprises a lot of people. If you've had surgery within the last 4 to 6 weeks, flying could genuinely be dangerous for you. Here's why this matters so much. After surgery, your body is in a state of healing, and part of that healing process involves an elevated risk of blood clots. Your circulatory system is working harder, your veins are more vulnerable, and the last thing you want to do is sit in a cramped airplane seat for hours with reduced cabin pressure and limited ability to move around. At altitude, the pressure inside an aircraft cabin is actually equivalent to being somewhere between 6,000 and 8,000 feet above sea level. That lower pressure reduces the amount of oxygen in your blood, which stresses a body that's already under the strain of post-surgical recovery. For people over 70, healing times are already longer, and the risk of developing something called deep vein thrombosis, where a blood clot forms in your legs, is significantly higher. That clot can travel to your lungs. We call that a pulmonary embolism, and it is life-threatening. Your surgeon should be giving you this guidance, but honestly, not all of them are thorough about it. So if you've had any major or even minor surgical procedure recently, and you're in this age group, check with your doctor specifically about flying before you book anything. Sign number 2 is something that affects millions of people over 70, and most of them have no idea it's a flying risk. Uncontrolled heart conditions. Now, I'm not saying that every person who has ever had a heart issue can't fly. Plenty of people with well-managed cardiovascular conditions travel by air all the time safely. The key word there is well-managed. If you've recently had a heart attack, if you've been diagnosed with unstable angina, if your arrhythmia is not currently under control, or if you've had any kind of cardiac event in the past few weeks, flying is not for you right now. The reduced oxygen environment in a plane cabin puts additional demand on your heart. Your heart has to work harder to circulate oxygen-rich blood throughout your body when there's less oxygen available in the air you're breathing. For a heart that's already compromised or recently injured, that extra workload is a serious problem. There are also documented cases of cardiac events occurring mid-flight when medical intervention was minutes away at best. If your cardiologist hasn't specifically cleared you for air travel after a recent cardiac event, treat that as a no-fly situation. Now here's where it gets important for anyone watching who takes multiple medications, which, let's be honest, describes most people in this age group. Sign number 3 is an often overlooked one. Certain medications and how they interact with altitude and cabin pressure can create real problems at 35,000 feet. Some blood pressure medications can cause increased dizziness at altitude. Diuretics can accelerate dehydration, which is already a major issue on planes because cabin air is extremely dry. Blood thinners, which many older adults take to prevent stroke, combined with the already elevated clot risk of long-haul flying, create a complicated balance that needs medical oversight. And some sedating medications affect your body differently when oxygen levels are lower than normal. None of this means you can never fly if you take medications. It means you need a real conversation with your physician specifically about your medication list and how each of those drugs interacts with the physiological stress of air travel. This conversation might take 10 minutes. It could save your life. Let's pause here for a second because I want to make something clear. This video isn't about telling you that getting older means your adventures are over. It absolutely does not mean that. What it means is that you deserve accurate information so you can make smart decisions and keep traveling for decades to come. Keep watching, because sign 4 and 5 are ones that most travel health articles completely skip over. Sign number 4 involves your respiratory system, and it's crucial. If you have a respiratory condition that isn't currently stable, flying is a significant risk. This includes conditions like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, emphysema, or even severe asthma that hasn't been well controlled recently. Here's the physiology. In that reduced pressure cabin environment, your lungs have to work harder to extract oxygen from the air. For lungs that are already functioning below capacity, this can tip the balance from manageable to a medical emergency. Oxygen saturation levels that you might maintain just fine at sea level can drop to concerning levels at cruising altitude. Some airlines do allow passengers to bring supplemental oxygen on board, but this requires advance arrangement and medical documentation. If your pulmonologist or your primary care doctor has told you that your lung function is compromised, or if you've recently had a significant respiratory infection like pneumonia, please get formal medical clearance before flying. The symptoms of respiratory distress at altitude can come on faster than you might expect, and a plane is not the place to find out your lungs can't handle it. And now we've arrived at sign number 5, which might be the most important one of all because it's the one that's hardest to see coming. Significant cognitive or neurological changes, particularly recent ones. If you or a family member has recently experienced a stroke, a transient ischemic attack which people commonly call a mini-stroke, or a sudden change in cognitive function, flying introduces risks that go beyond the physical. After a stroke, the brain is in a delicate recovery period. Reduced oxygen levels in a cabin environment can stress neural tissue that's already damaged. The disruption of routine, the physical demands of navigating a busy airport, the time zone changes, and the overall stress of air travel can exacerbate confusion and disorientation in people who are already experiencing cognitive vulnerability. There's also a safety and independence concern. Someone experiencing significant memory challenges or confusion may not be able to communicate effectively with flight crew in an emergency, may not remember critical safety instructions, and may become severely disoriented in an airport environment. This isn't about dignity. People with dementia and cognitive conditions still absolutely deserve to travel and experience the world. It's about matching the mode of travel to what's genuinely safe and manageable at this specific point in time. So let's bring it all together. You're over 70. You're planning to travel. How do you know if it's safe to fly? Here's your practical checklist. Recent surgery in the last 4 to 6 weeks. Talk to your surgeon first. Uncontrolled or recently destabilized heart condition. Get cardiac clearance specifically for air travel. Multiple medications with potential altitude interactions. Review your full medication list with your doctor in the context of flying. Unstable or significantly compromised respiratory function. See your pulmonologist before booking. And recent neurological events or significant cognitive changes. Have an honest conversation with your medical team about whether flying is appropriate right now. Now here's what I really want you to take away from this. None of these signs are permanent verdicts. They're timing issues. They're current condition issues. A person who can't safely fly today might be completely cleared to fly in 2 months after recovery. Managing conditions, adjusting medications, and getting proper medical clearance can open up air travel again for many people who feel it's currently off the table. And for those times when flying genuinely isn't safe, there are beautiful alternatives. Train travel is experiencing a genuine renaissance and offers comfort, scenery, and the ability to stand and move around that planes simply cannot match. River cruises, road trips, and destination travel close to home can be every bit as enriching as international flights. The goal here is simple. You've worked your whole life. You deserve to see the world, experience new places, and create memories with the people you love. You just deserve to do it safely and with full information. If this video helped you or someone you care about, share it with an older family member who might be planning a trip soon. And tell me in the comments, what's the destination you're dreaming about reaching? I'd genuinely love to know. See you in the next one.